When we imagine World War II armored vehicles, we usually think of giant steel monsters rolling across battlefields. But today's list is different. These are armored vehicles that are not tanks, armored cars, APCs, and half-tracks that fought the war while looking, let's be honest, a little funny by modern standards. Some look like angry trucks, others like armored shoeboxes with guns taped on, and yet, despite their awkward looks, these vehicles played critical roles in reconnaissance, infantry transport, and battlefield control. So buckle up, because we're counting down the top 10 World War II armored vehicles and strictly no tanks, with facts, history, and a little humor along the way. Number 10, the WZ34, Poland. The Polish WZ34 looks like what happens when a delivery truck decides it wants to fight a war. Built on a truck chassis, this light armored car was armed with either a 37mm gun or a machine gun, which sounds impressive until you realize the armor was thin enough to make modern vehicles laugh. By 1939, it was already outdated, slow, and terrible off-road. Still, during the invasion of Poland, the WZ34 did its job bravely, supporting infantry and scouting enemy positions. It represents how smaller nations squeezed every ounce of usefulness from limited resources. Funny looking? Absolutely. Courageous? Without a question. Number 9, the BA64, Soviet Union. The BA64 is the Soviet Union's idea of a compact armored car, and it looks like a metal wedge on wheels. Armed with a single machine gun, it wasn't built to scare tanks, it was built to scout, survive, and keep moving. The BA64 was cheap, simple, and produced in huge numbers, which made Soviet commanders very happy. Crews, however, were less thrilled, since it was cramped, noisy, and about as comfortable as sitting inside a toolbox. Still, it was reliable, easy to maintain, and perfect for reconnaissance. Not glamorous, not scary, but extremely Soviet in spirit. The M3 Scout car looks like someone armored a pickup truck and then forgot to put a roof on it. Open-topped and lightly armored, it relied on speed rather than protection. Armored with multiple machine guns, it served as a reconnaissance vehicle, command car, and convoy escort. It was loved by officers because it was fast and reliable, and loved by mechanics because it rarely broke down. It was also supplied to allied nations, including the Soviet Union, proving that even funny-looking American vehicles could win friends. Not exactly intimidating, but extremely practical like jeans and a t-shirt. The Humber Armored Car, United Kingdom. The Humber armored car looks like a proper British armored vehicle, boxy, sensible, quite effective. Armed with machine guns or a 37mm cannon, depending on the version, it served across North Africa and Europe. It didn't try to look scary, it just did its job well. Reliable, easy to drive, and surprisingly comfortable by wartime standards. The Humber earned the trust of its crews. Compared to modern armored vehicles, it looks like something that should be delivering tea rather than fighting. Still, it proved that good design doesn't need to look dramatic to be successful. Number 6, the BA3 or BA6 Soviet Union. The BA64 was subtle. The BA3 was the opposite. The heavy armored car carried a full 45mm tank, making it one of the most heavily armored cars of the war. On roads, it was terrifying. Off-roads, it was optimistic at best. Built on a truck chassis, it smuggled in mud and snow, which is unfortunate when you're fighting in the Soviet Union. Still, in early World War II, it could actually fight enemy armor. It looks like a tank that skipped leg day, but when it worked very well. Number 5, the SD KFZ-222, Germany. The KFZ-222 looks like a futuristic trash can with wheels and a gun sticking out of the top. But don't let that fool you. This was one of Germany's most effective reconnaissance vehicles. 20mm autocannon, it could handle infantry, light vehicles, and even low-flying aircraft. Fast and agile, it scouted ahead of German forces in almost every early campaign. The open turret gave excellent visibility, though it also meant crews were exposed to just about everything. Still, as a scout vehicle, it did exactly what it was designed to do. At number 4, the M8 Greyhound, United States. The M8 Greyhound looks like a racing car but accidentally joined the army. Fast, smooth, and reliable. It was armed with a 37mm gun and used primarily for reconnaissance. It wasn't meant to fight tanks, and it knew that, so it focused on speed and information gathering. Crews loved it because it was comfortable, dependable, and much easier to maintain than heavier vehicles. Compared to modern armored vehicles, it looks light and fragile, but during World War II, it was one of the best armored cars ever built. Speed was its armor. At number 3, the Daimler Armored Car, United Kingdom. The Daimler armored car is small, squat, and surprisingly deadly. Armed with a 40mm gun, it packs serious firepower and compact design. It also had four-wheel drive and rear steering, meaning it could escape danger just as easily as it entered. This made it excellent for reconnaissance and hit-and-run tactics. Compared to modern vehicles, it looks like a metal turtle, but a very angry turtle. British crews praised its reliability and fighting ability, proving that sometimes smaller really is better, especially when the enemy doesn't see you coming. The SDK-FZ251 looks like a steel bathtub on trucks, but it changed warfare forever. This armored half-track carried infantry directly into battle alongside tanks, creating true mechanized infantry. With dozens of variants, it served as a troop carrier, command vehicle, mortar carrier, and more. It wasn't heavily armored, but it didn't need to be. It was about speed and coordination. Compared to modern APCs, it looked awkward and exposed. Yet its concept shaped future military vehicles worldwide. Ugly? Maybe. Revolutionary? Absolutely. At number 1, the ADGZ, Austria, Germany. The ADGZ looks like a bus that decided violence was the answer. Huge, 8-wheeled, and strangely symmetrical. It even had dual driving positions, so it could escape without turning around. Armed with a 20mm autocannon, it was heavily armored for an armored car, and excellent in security and urban operations. Though too big for frontline combat, it was intimidating, unusual, and unforgettable. Compared to modern armored vehicles, it looks ridiculous but also brilliant. The ADGZ proves that sometimes the weirdest designs leaves the biggest impression. These armored vehicles may look strange compared to today's sleek military machines, but they are a vital tool of World War II. They scouted, transported troops, secured territory, and shaped modern armored warfare. If you've enjoyed this mix of history and humor, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment which armored vehicle you think looks the funniest. History doesn't always look cool, but it is always fascinating.